Om. Gayatri Mahamantra with your back straight. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. Invocation of the Divine Master Adi Guru Muni Vedvyasji Maharaj. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Deva Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Akhanda Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Shri Guruve Namaha. व्यासरूपेण आवाहयामि स्थापयामि ध्यायामि पूजयामि ततो नमस्कारं करोमि. Shrimed Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 9, verse number 15. In the last verse during the previous class, we deliberated upon upasana. What is upasana? And today, the Lord, through the script by Adi Guru Muni Vedvyas, informs that upasana can be done also as a knowledge, offering an oblation as a sacrifice through knowledge. What does it mean? Jnana Yajna. It means that we contemplate within our own self and try to draw a distinction by discerning different facts in the light of what is the ultimate truth. And there are three different paths which have been prescribed and informed under this verse. We'll come down upon each one of them respectively. The first one is oneness. Oneness, yes. To go on to discern between something which is going to stay forever and rest all that shall not be able to stay and sustain forever. Something which is immutable, timeless, and rest all that is within the bounds of the time and vulnerable to change. To be more precise, the changeless and one that shall change. Go on discerning that. A yogi within one's own self shall embark upon this journey to draw a distinction between all that which is going to change and the one that is not going to change, the changeless one. The journey may start from relations, possessions, people, situation, objects, anything and everything. The entire gamut of the life before a human falls under this, the ambit of this discernment. Go on trying to draw a distinction between what is going to change and what is not going to change. Once you embark upon this journey and you start taking a note and account of all items that come to your sight, to your understanding. For example, you may pick up something which has the highest tensility like diamond. Diamonds are forever, as they commonly mention. But we all know that there is a specific time period which takes for a diamond to become a diamond, even from the bark of a tree, turning into a carbon, and then carbon further hardening itself to become a diamond. There is an age for that. That age may spread out to couple of thousand years. Of course, yes. Likewise, Diamond shall also have its own age when it comes to decay. When it comes that it shall undergo a change. That age, that span of period may be again running down to thousands of years. We may not be able to witness this as a human because we are entrapped into a limit of a time period within which we must perish as a body on this mortal plane. But even the diamonds, they have a specific age, whether it starts from the moment when a bark of a tree started becoming a diamond through the journey of carbon, becoming carbon, and then further towards its decay, when it undergoes a change to lose its identity as a diamond. That may span out to maybe, I'm not knowing the exactness of the time period, but maybe just for the sake of mentioning, 10,000 years, for example. But there is a span within brackets, 10,000 years. So diamonds are not forever. If you go on to probe it, if we synthesize this threadbare, diamonds are not forever. You may be able to make a mention through a phrase that diamonds are forever. Then what is going to stay forever? What is that is changeless? The name undergoes a change. The form undergoes a change. The time undergoes a change. The nature undergoes a change. On this mortal plane, anything and everything undergoes a change. Then what is the changeless one? To go on discerning it, between the changeless and the one that shall never change. Nitya Anitya Bheda. That is how we mention it in the Upanishads. And you shall come down to settle only one aspect which is changeless, and that is consciousness. Consciousness never undergoes change. It was, it is, and shall remain. No one knows because there is no count of time. Why? Because it is timeless. It is beyond the calibration of time. Something which is beyond the calibration of time and space obviously is not prone to the laws of change. So laws of change don't apply upon consciousness. That alone is the changeless one. So there are seekers who, under their own pursuit to evolve, undergo this kind of a contemplation, offering oblations, sacrificial oblations under knowledge, and discerning themselves from all that is changeless to those that change, all that comes into the change. And they settle down to consciousness and then gradually realize that it is nothing else but that changeless consciousness. Rest all is there, transient, maybe a delusion, a veil of ignorance cast upon us that gives us the appearance of delusion as something real, but it is not so. The moment you go behind the veil, the fact becomes bare, and it is that nothing exists except consciousness, and that they term as oneness. There is only oneness. There are no two. Nothing has two. It's only oneness. That one alone prevails. Nothing else exists. All else that appears to be real is perhaps a delusion cast upon by the ignorance. And the moment you're able to thwart and dispel that ignorance, the light comes and you understand and you realize it is oneness. I may be talking it in the form of words, expressing it through thoughts, making a mention which is in the gross form, but that is how it undergoes within a seeker through a deep contemplation. In the deep contemplation, in order to settle down to the changeless one has to undergo this exercise. And it's not only at the state of mind. No. At the same time, it is also there that one has to withdraw the impacts of this changing mortal plane from one's own awareness. We are under the grips. We are under the grips of propensities which impel upon us to behave, to act, prioritize in a particular manner, instinctive, impulsive conducts. This all impel must be withdrawn. Unless that happens, a meaningful completion of this Jnana Yajna shall not accomplish, and it takes time. It's not about a theoretical, a dogmatic contemplation. Yes, dogmatically it is easy to discern between the changeless and all that is vulnerable to change. It is easy on the dogmatic plane. But when it comes to impress upon your deep-rooted responses, it takes a lot of time. One life, maybe more before you are able to purify your own insight, your own awareness from the clutches of all those holdings that we have accumulated in through past countless lives. It takes a lot of time to truly conclude with that oneness. Then there is also mentioned in the verse that under the same realms of the sacrificial oblation as knowledge, there is another school of thought, there is another school of believers who settle down that there are two, not one. One is me, another is my Lord. Me and my deity, Arjuna and Krishna. We two are there. It's me and it's it. We both have a distinction. Me as an individual, I have limitations to exert myself, to exert and impress my might upon anything and everything around me. And then there is a larger reality, the larger consciousness, which is my deity, Krishna, that's beyond time and space. And I must be able to merge into my deity, into my Ishta, into my own Lord, to such an extent that the difference between us diminishes. I become it. But to the limit, to the extent I become it, there is going to remain a duality. And through that duality, a day will come when I will totally merge into it to become one. But the journey has to go through duality. Then there is a mention in the verse that there may be many under the same realm of Jnana Yoga offering sacrificial oblation under the knowledge contemplation. Those who find that it is the expression of that one Lord through countless faces around. It is expressed as a mountain, it is expressed as a river, as a sacred river. It itself is an expression through the form of a human. It is an expression through a vegetation. It is an expression through fire, wind, water. Anything and everything around me is nothing but its true signatures spread around me with thousands faces. 1,000 is a number just given in order to tell the expansiveness of such an understanding. So I find my Lord everywhere, expressing through each one which I confront. Every one around me and anything around me is its manifestation. So it comes to me in its magnanimity, a form with magnanimity spread all over around me. So there are different school of thoughts under the same sacrificial oblation of the knowledge, Jnana Yoga, who may pursue their spiritual pursuit through oneness, who may pursue through duality, and the others who might like to observe its manifestation in anything and everything around. See the face of the Almighty in each and everything around, whatever they come across. But the moment you contemplate more upon it, you find that all these three school of thoughts, they submerge into each one, each another, in order to conclude to that oneness, that it alone exists and nothing else. Maybe it is it alone as oneness, maybe it is the Bhakt and Bhagwan, that is the devotee and its Lord, and maybe it is an expression to anything and everything around me. All these three, they submerge into that same one. What happens after this? Once you gather such an understanding, automatically from your own depths, a respect arises for each one. Each one in its own respective spiritual pursuit, furthering its evolution its own way. You start paying respect, you accommodate them. Under their evolutionary journey, they find it easier to comprehend themselves in form of duality. The others may find more comfortable when it comes to find its manifestation in anything and everything around. Then there may be few who may go on further merely to initiate and then ultimately conclude to oneness and nothing else. It is it alone and nothing else. But they all are submerging to one conclusion. Their conclusion is not different to each other. When this is the understanding which you draw after such a contemplation, automatically you start accommodating and respecting others. You realize that each one, through its own distinction, is ultimately in the pursuit of the same objective. The end result is going to be the same. It is not going to be different with you, me, or anyone else. There is the oneness in the conclusion as well. And with such a respect, such an accommodation, such an expansive understanding that dawns in a human, in a seeker, brings to it the abilities of the right human being on this planet in its living form. This is all I have to mention in the light of this particular verse in this particular class. Hope to see you again in the next class on the second and last Sunday of the month. Till then, Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai. Before that, I missed to bring that verse before you, and here I bring that verse before you on the screen. You can also read the words of the screen. Gyan yagyen cha api anye yajantah mam upasate ekatven pratakatven bahuda vishvuto mukham. Many worship me by knowledge as their sacrificial oblation. Oneness distinct in duality, others as creation in form of my manifestation. This is the verse before you. Once again, to conclude, I make a mention. Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai.